Playing inter-county camogie this year as well as Gaelic, do you think it's something you will keep up for the years ahead, playing both?
Yeah, I've always wanted to play county camogie. I suppose I come from a massive GA family. My dad is a big, massive hurling man. He's not really a fan of football, but it's always something that I wanted to do for him. He actually sat me down when I was younger and had a serious conversation with me. He asked me before he passed away, will I try ever play for Tipperary camogie? So I suppose this year with everything going on, and I saw that it was a perfect opportunity to try fit it in. Being at home from college and stuff, I didn't have a lot of things pulling out of me, but yeah, my career, well, my first start with Tipperary camogie didn't go so well. I got a red card, but then I ended up getting injured through a football match. So then I was out then for the All-Ireland semi last Saturday, but yeah, I feel like I didn't get a proper kind of a go at it, so I'm going to try it out now again next year and see where it takes me.
Who was your Gaelic hero growing up?
Gaelic hero growing up would have to be Breach Corkery. I don't know if you know her or if you've heard of her. She used to play for Cork. She was part that won about 10 All-Irelands in a row. When I was younger, I always played midfield. So she was someone who I aspired to be. I suppose her work rate, her attitude, everything that she brought to the game was someone who I always looked up to. Since then, I've been moved into full forward now. I get slagged for being a bit lazy at times, my lazy position at the minute. I don't like going out past the half forward line. But yeah, no, it'd have to be Breach Corkery. She's excellent, and I suppose she got the opportunity to play with her then a few years later with the True Munster Interpros, and it was just amazing to play alongside someone. I'm 22 now. I was 20 at the time, and I was still starstruck to play alongside her because she's someone who I would have looked up to when I was younger.
What has been the best and the worst moments of your sporting career so far?
Best and worst. Well, I suppose sport in general always brings unreal days and absolutely terrible days. It's just such highs and lows in sport, but I suppose since I was younger, and I suppose I'm very thankful for my parents as well. When you're younger and you lose games, you kind of tend to just take it so to heart. I remember I came home here one day crying. I was about 9 or 10 at the time, and I come in the door and I actually was greeted with a wooden spoon. I was told to never ever cry after a game like that again, and be sure to go over and shake hands with the opposition and show gratitude towards them. So I think the worst sport probably is people could say losing. I don't really have bad days in sports. Since then, and since my parents spoke to me, you kind of have the attitude now is we are playing sport to enjoy it. It's a hobby for us. So in terms of worst days, I actually can't really think of any particular time that stands out in my head as being very bad. Other than injuries, I've been very lucky actually with injuries. I haven't suffered from many. At the minute I'm currently injured, so I suppose they are probably the worst time. Best then, I've had many good memories. I suppose we won an intermediate All-Ireland camogie with our club back in, God, I don't know the date now. I'm terrible with this. 2016, I'm going to guess. But I think that day was just unbelievable. I know it's not even football, but when you're winning with your club and you win All-Ireland, I remember coming back to the home tent that night, and there must have been about 1,000 people lined the streets, flags, buntons, into Care House, celebrations for about 2 or 3 nights in a row. And I suppose my dad as well was involved with the team, and he was on the sideline. So obviously he would have been a big inspiration to me growing up. So I just felt like that was a really nice moment for everyone at home here in the community, and just for my dad in particular. So that was probably the best moment I've had.
The toughest opponent you've marked or played against?
Oh, there's been a lot. I always say Melissa Duggan from Cork. Don't know if you know her. I'm about 2 foot. Melissa Duggan's about 2'2". By the time I get down to pick up the ball, Melissa's gone with it. But yeah, no, it has to be Melissa Duggan from Cork. Just her pace, the way she plays. She just plays so on the edge. I suppose we've had our battles. We'd be chatting away during the game, but we'd have our battles down through the years. And if I was to pick someone, it would have to be Melissa Duggan from Cork. Don't like seeing her coming. Run the other way.
If you could change one rule in ladies Gaelic football, what would it be?
Can I say two?
Yeah.
So number one would be the yellow card.
Oh, yes.
I think it completely ruins the game. I think when a game is level on either side and someone gets a yellow card, it really takes the stunt out of the game. Sometimes it can work in favour of the team who's losing, and sometimes it can completely destroy a game. So I think the yellow card would be one. And in terms of physicality, it's supposed to be a non-contact sport at the minute, but I don't know. We all get pulled and dragged out of and swung out of. So I think if a bit more physicality come into in terms of shouldering, I wouldn't mind a few shoulders now myself. So that would probably be two, the yellow card and just probably physicality in terms of shouldering ball into the game.
Yeah, I think myself and Kiva probably agree with the yellow card as well there. What drill would be your favourite or least favourite?
I get slagged about this. My least favourite one is definitely the run. I absolutely hate it. But it has to be done, people. It's just winter running in the muck is just cat. I wouldn't be a fan. In terms of favourite drill, I love backs and forwards, especially when the management kind of leave us do it. And we have to work as a team. I suppose you split forwards into backs in, and we have to try come up with our own ways of trying to break down the backs, and they're trying to break us down. So backs and forwards, anything to do with forward drills I love. But in terms of don't like running drills, not a fan.
I'd have to say we're the same.
Everyone is, I think.
Especially in winter when it's so cold and they make you get down on the ground as well. Oh, it's awful.
It's horrendous. Well too, they just annoy you, and then you're down. You don't want it wet, and you're all wet, and then you tell you lie on your back and you're soaked to the skin. So the worst.
What weather condition is the hardest for you to find to play in?
It's definitely the league. I think everyone will agree with the league. It's just, the league is just kind of, as I say, it's just kind of slogging. You just have to get through it. You know, you're trying to stay up, I suppose, for here in Tip, like we're Division 1 at the minute, and we're trying to stay up Division 1, and we're missing two girls in Australia, Ash McCarthy and Ona Dwyer. So the league for us is kind of, well, the last number of years has been kind of like slogging, just trying to get there and trying to stay up, in hope for the two girls coming home then in summer. So the league is just muck and rain and wind, and just not viable football. The football doesn't bounce off the ground like the summer kind of ball, but it suits the backs. Don't think it suits the forwards.
No, not at all.
So, no.
If there was a transfer market in ladies football, which player would you like to sign up and why?
Player I would like to sign up, back or forward or any.
You can go with whichever position you're on.
I think it would have to be Amy Mackin, to be honest. I think just her skill level alone is just absolutely outstanding. After doing her cruciate last year, and the way she has taken the championship by the scruff of the neck this year, she's been so impressive in the last number of games she's played. She's probably someone I've been watching for years because we played against her too, and I actually love when we play against her sister as well, Blawhy, and I love when we play against them in college because the two of them are such natural athletic players, and they're always liable to do something absolutely crazy, spin one over from the sideline or something. So it'd have to be Mackin would be the one pick.
Yeah, no, she's a very good footballer actually, because we were following the games as well, and in most of the reports it was mainly her as the key player, the standout player in all of them.
Yeah. She's class. She's very good.
I don't think we mentioned anyone else, only Amy Mack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. She played a match in 2 games, I think, was she?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. She's so skillful, like, and the stuff she can do with the ball, she's nearly like a wizard.
Oh yeah, it's nearly like natural for her as well.
Sorry?
It's like natural, second nature to her.
Oh yeah, sure. Don't even know where the goalpost is half the time, and she just popped them over the bar. If I corner flags, the way she carries on.
So I don't know if you've seen, but last year a report came out headlining Maloney would make it into the lads team too. What was your reaction to that?
Who said that?
It was.
It was on a report of, I think it was after what match? I think it would have been one of your finals or something. Sports Joe or something had a title saying that Maloney would make us with that too.
Are you sure it's the right Maloney or a different Maloney?
Oh.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't have minded playing Bloody Sunday there weeks ago. I wouldn't have said no to that. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. It's, well, in terms of where the women's sport is going at the minute, in particular ladies football, I feel like the standard is really increasing a lot every year. And I suppose we are kind of getting nearly on par with the men's in terms of skill and pace, and we're getting an awful lot more people viewing our games and stuff. So there's a lot more interest as well. Even what happened over the weekend, if that happened 3-4 years ago, there wouldn't be as much hype as what there is now. So it's really good that journalists and stuff are criticising the game, because then that can only lead to improving. But in terms of an opportunity to play with men's, I wouldn't mind like playing inside now with Cillian O'Connor or for tip Connor Sweeney and Michael Quinlivan. I suppose on Bloody Sunday as well, if I had a dream, if it was for one day, I wouldn't have been thrown in the mix.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said with more viewers for the women's, because there was 56,000 at the All-Ireland final last year, and that was the record for the most attendance at a women's final.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I suppose, to be honest, I've kind of grown up in an era where ladies football is on an increase. Literally, kind of from the first year I went in with Tip when I was 17, 18. Little had come on board then a year later, and since then it's just been on a complete roller coaster. But yeah, in terms of attendance, like, it's crazy. Even if you were to compare ladies football to Camogie are getting, I think, about 30,000. I could be wrong with that figure now, but then ladies football are up near 60,000. But I suppose I'm honoured and privileged to be involved in Lidl in terms of helping them out to promote the game and stuff like that. So they've done really good work. And I don't know if you remember, but their first stunt, I'll never forget it. They brought out this lady ball, it was a pink ball. Do you remember it? No?
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Everyone was kind of like, what's going on? Like, why are they bringing out a pink ball? And then they got everyone talking next, and then they brought out their hat. But yeah, no, they've more stuff now. I'm aware they've more stuff planned now for coming next year. And I suppose TG Gallagher as well. You know, being able to show the games, those Friday night lights, everyone was loving them. And I suppose when seeing the games on at weekends is great. Like, only for them, you know, views, people wouldn't be able to see what's on hand, like the skill level that's there. So it's been one hell of a roller coaster. There's actually our captain, Samantha Lambert. She's 28 now. And she always says to us, like, maybe after we might win something, and she was like, to work all the younger ones. She just says to us, because you don't know what you're going up in right now. Like, it's complete transition of what's going on. She was like, when I was younger, like, we never got anything that you're getting now and stuff like that. So I suppose you nearly become oblivious to it too. Even I was only saying to someone there, it must be 1 to 2 months ago, I can recall when ladies games weren't played in stadiums. And now they're played in stadiums the whole time, and we nearly take it for granted kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just because we've moving on to the next thing, we're like, what can we norm now? So now we're trying to norm expenses and stuff. But in terms of, like, even the match being changed from Parnell Park to Croke Park, that would have happened 2-3 years ago. But it's becoming such a norm now that we are playing in stadiums. That's great. And things are only getting better. And I suppose in terms of expenses now, that's the next thing that WGPA are trying to tackle to try and improve. So when you're in it, you kind of just, like, you don't know what's going on. You're kind of, everything's just going so fast. But I suppose when you're outside looking in at it, it's kind of like, Jesus, this is really just 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, no, the whole situation over Wicklow and Cork is mad, actually. Like, it's the privilege of playing in Croke Park, but it's just the fact that they didn't have enough time is the one problem I think it was.
Yeah, it's mad, and I suppose whatever happened or whatever went on, I suppose it's probably just negative publicity for a game. Great, probably. I suppose then I ended up not being aired in TG Car. I was actually watching it as well myself. So it was just kind of negative publicity. And I suppose it's not only ladies football as well, it's in all sports, like with this whole 2020 campaign. Like, it's because it's gone so good now that all these things are raising its head and becoming criticised. But I suppose just trying to minus and lower the whole kind of negative publicity, the better it will be. But hopefully in the future, only that can be prevented and it won't happen again.
Yeah.
With balancing sport and work, is it hard going, or are you managing to work around it?
It's actually growing up. It's actually gas. Growing up, you kind of just you nearly adopt yourself. You kind of, even I find now actually, I'm at home at the minute. I'm not in college, and well, I'm in final year of college at the minute, and I went the long way. I became a doctor. Should have done 4 years. Ended up doing 5. But yeah, no, I think since you grow up, you kind of know, like, when I used to be going county training, I had to get my homework done before county training. If I didn't do it before county training, it wouldn't be done and would have got in trouble the next day going to school. So you end up learning how to manage time since you're young, and I suppose that just continues on to your adult life then of going to college, working. I'm working at the minute in school. I just kind of set out the part of the week, I make my plan, okay, I need to get this, this and this done because I'm training. I was training about 4 times a week there for the last 2 months. And I suppose it kind of really puts good pressure on you to get stuff done, and you have to organise your time way better. So I don't find it a struggle. I suppose at times it does pile up, but I suppose the more you keep on top of it and the more you prevent college work and stuff piling up, the better. But I do think it, unknown to any sports person, it makes you become more organised because you have to meet deadlines in terms of sport and in terms of your work life. So I think it's what comes with playing. You kind of grow up, and you probably know that yourselves. If you're going training and you've homework, you're like, oh God, I've trained tonight, I have to get all this English essay done tonight. The English essay is probably just ramped out on the paper, 2 pages, absolutely. Get it into the teacher, make her be happy with it. But it's gas because leaving cert results and junior cert results, everyone who plays sports just naturally does better. It's because we're able to balance it better, but I don't find it a struggle, no. I just think I've grown up having to learn how to manage my time and organise myself to be ready. So yeah, no, I wouldn't. At times it does get tough. Like sometimes there was 2 or 3 weeks there just gone, and I'd training and I'd so much work to do for the next day. But I suppose if you just know you're going to get through it and get it done, it will be done eventually. But whenever it gets done, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning, it could be early the next. But no, it's all good. I think it just teaches us how to.
Yeah, but I think sport is a great way to like get away from the books as well. Like even if you've so much to do, it's just a great way to get out and get your head clear as well. Like I know I prefer to go to training than sit down and, you know, go through a whole essay and stuff. So it's just a great way to get out. I think I really enjoy it anyways.
Yeah, and I suppose would you find as well, like when you come home from school you're so tired, and then maybe if when training came home you nearly feel like for an hour or 2 after home training you'd actually tackle, well, you probably wouldn't tackle it or something, but you'd be in the way of concentrating properly. Like I myself that if I'm studying for something, I'd say to myself, we can all say, I had 6 years there one day, and I said, don't tell yourself because it says in the journal that you're supposed to study 4 hours every night. It's like with the goal, if you're going to study an hour, do a good hour instead of, I'm queen at procrastinating, sitting there on my phone 3 hours, nothing is done, and you're sitting there for 4 hours and you've got nothing done. So if you just set yourself realistic goals, but in terms of, yeah, it's so true. And I suppose it just, like, there's so much stuff going on now, and there's so much stuff going on around us between phones, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We can kind of become a bit overindulgent, but when we go to training, we forget about everything. Clears the mind, clears the head, keeps us mentally healthy. And I suppose you kind of get the confidence then to drive on and bait into a bit of homework or whatever you want to do and be productive about yourself. So it definitely does help. And I suppose having the crack with the live training there tonight, and I'm buzzing. I can't play at the minute, but the club girl wants to send me, so we're still training. So I'm just literally excited all day to go training, just for the chats and the crack, and sure, it's mighty crack all together.
Yeah, no, it's one of the best things to look forward to, especially because of the whole corona thing, that we can still go to training, and it's the one thing we can enjoy together as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I suppose we kind of all, you probably appreciate it more as well, do you?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
My battery keeps going up. It's so nice now that, you know, I suppose I was kind of going through a phase there where I went from playing school, and we would have been very successful in school, getting to All Irelands every year nearly. Losing them, of course. One and that, but I went from school then to playing college, so I was training then. I was going initially up, because college goes from September to February, the season. Then county starts in September, and you're going to August if you're lucky. So it was just a continuous conveyor belt for me there for about 7 or 8 years. This year, I kind of started to draw for it a bit, because you just never get a break, even over Christmas, you're watching yourself, in terms of socialising, drinking, obviously, and all that crack, and I suppose keeping yourself fit and healthy. So I think COVID came at the right time for me as well, because it would make me appreciate it so much more than I had it back. So I think COVID did a lot for all of us in all different aspects. It kind of slowed us all down a bit, but in terms of sport, definitely kind of got my claw back for it again anyway.
Yeah, no, it was a good time, I think. Like, it gave us all, a break that we all needed, but at the same time, it made us realise how much we do miss the little things as well. So I don't know, I really enjoyed the time off, definitely.
I found just simple things, I suppose. It's very mad. My family here, it's very mad. We're constantly on the go 24/7, and I suppose we have a family business here as well, and that was gone this year, so we had all of that as well. I suppose it's their only income, like mum and dad own their own business, so it kind of made you appreciate then, we're all on this mad rush to make money. And I suppose I'm living in Dublin in college, and I see people get up at 5 o'clock more and go to work, and it's kind of like, what are you doing all this for? People probably very loved ones who they couldn't see and stuff like that. So I suppose it just makes you appreciate the small things around you. I suppose having family members that are healthy and happy, and like if that happened last year with the business, probably would have been the worst thing in the world. But because there was so much other stuff going on around us, it kind of made us just come back down to earth a bit and just appreciate what was going on. So we're all on a treadmill. We're with the treadmill up to about 30, and we were just flying going on the treadmill. We weren't even looking left or right. You're one mad rush.
That's so true, though. Anyways, back to football. So, losing out to Monaghan by just a point, maybe a bad decision from the referee, you never know, but what were your thoughts on the game?
I suppose, there obviously was a lot of controversy about the referee afterwards, but I suppose we were the creators of our own downfall, really. Monaghan went up 9 points, I think, at one stage in the first half, so maybe if we'd even cut that in half, we probably wouldn't have had such a score difference to try and get back. But in terms of the game, I thought the game was brilliant. The skill level, I suppose, when you're in there, you're mad rush and you can't really think of what's going on. But I suppose for people looking onto it, I'm sure it was a great watch. Like the Galway game as well. And just for us here in Tip, I suppose we're a very young team at the minute. Our second oldest is 23. There was a lot of girls there, 5 or 6 girls who had made their debut, who had never played senior football before. So I suppose all doom and gloom, and there's a lot of controversy afterwards for us here in Tip. It was kind of great because Monaghan are a very experienced team. Even though they have dropped down to Division 2, they have excellent players like the Martin Espys and the Courtney. So I suppose we just took happy, positive things from it, really.
Yeah. As you see, the scoreline doesn't really reflect how much the game went itself, really.
No. I think if you look at the men's games at the weekend, the scoreline really affects. They're going with Dublin and with Mayo and Tip, I suppose. But in ladies football, a 9-point lead isn't anything because the game is just so fast, and goals can win there any second. So I feel like the score didn't reflect either game, especially I think in the Galway game we played Galway. I feel like 8 points down half time didn't actually reflect how well we were working and going in the first half. So, but that is, these are things we can work on going into next year. I suppose a bit of experience going forward for them girls who started this year. Playing them games will give them a lot of confidence. So next year, going in on it, we need to be able to learn to start from the start and not try finish it off near the end. So.
Yeah. But teams go like that. They do have their experiences and then they go back down, to start over again. So I do see next year coming back.
Yeah, well, I suppose to be honest, we've been in a transition the last 5 or 6 years. Every year we've had girls who would be known, Jennifer Grant, who would have played for Tipperary for years. They all retired. Gillian O'Brien, and we never actually had a group of girls, or the management never had actually a group of girls to actually work on. And I suppose now the retired people are retired, the younger girls are in, and there's more younger girls coming. And I suppose now is our managers are sort of stepping away now. He felt it was time for him to go, but for whoever comes in, I suppose there is a lot of talent there to be flourished. And I suppose maybe might be next year, the year after, but hopefully in 3 or 4 years' time that it'll be a looking bright for Tipperary back home here. So
Yeah, I think we can relate to that here in Longford as well. There's such a young senior team coming up.
And because I remember playing against Longford when we were intermediate, and I was only a wee one at this stage. I remember being at a match in St. Stadium and Tip ladies bet Longford by a point. It was in the last second. The hooter just went, and one of our girls kicked the ball over the bar. I'm pretty sure it was Longford. It was Longford. All-Ireland semi-final there about, I'd say 5 years ago. You probably mightn't remember it. But like a lot of them girls would have played that day. I would have played with for years, and now all of them have retired. So we've got a complete new team in, 4 or 5 years. Even I remember after the Monaghan game, we were probably kicking ourselves a lot, and we were here one night, Mam threw on a DVD, and it was us playing Division 2, and we were struggling to get out of Division 2 like 4 or 5 years ago, and here we are now playing Division 1 senior football. But as the saying goes, your mothers and parents, whatever, always say it, you much wants more. Like now we're just craving for more, and we want more. But it's like, because when I see Tip, and then I look at like Wexford, who we struggled to beat when we were playing against them, and then Longford, like it's so possible to get up there. I suppose it's just about getting the right attitude and getting the right management and stuff in place. So it's not a long road. Might take a few years, but it's so satisfying. I never would have thought I'd play in Division 1 football and senior football in Tipperary, ever. And it's definitely a dream come true for me. So
Yeah, I think we already went through this question, but do you think enough is being done to promote women in sport?
Yeah, we know you mentioned the TG Carr and Lidl were really supporting the ladies. Like I remember in our local little shop, they had a donation that a set of new jerseys would go to the women's club, I think it was, or a school. And I think our school entered in that as well. I'm not sure if did they get jerseys out of it maybe or something, or new footballs?
Yeah, I think we got a set of jerseys from the footballs and all that.
Yeah, I do. I think Lidl and TGR have done great things. Now, in terms of ladies football, I know that there is loads being done, but in terms of other sports, I don't know if there is so much. We are actually doing this thing in college to promote the 20 by 20 campaign, and she does athletics. She runs for Ireland, and she was asking me, this is only as a recent, asked me, what's this whole 20 by 20 campaign about? And is Athletics Ireland not promoting it, or are your clubs back home not promoting it? She hadn't a clue, and she had to look up what it was about before she went, because we had to talk at this talk thing about it. So in terms of ladies football, I feel like everyone involved and our clubs and all and camps are really pushing 20 by 20 and pushing the promotion of ladies sports. But in terms of other sports, I feel like it is definitely a slack and needs improvement in it. But it was just really interesting listening to her, because she'd be very well known in terms of athletics world. And to hear her say that she hadn't a clue, and I was like, you have to be joking me, because I see it everywhere. I turn on Twitter, and it's even on jerseys now. I see Clare ladies have it on their jerseys, and everywhere we look, it's there. And I suppose Lidl are continuously, and TG Carr and Ladies Open are continuously just promoting it. But promotion has gone a long way. I suppose one thing that probably could be something that might come up is, I suppose, when you're asked to do something, maybe men's might get a bit more in terms of pay, female would, in terms of getting involved in ads and doing stuff like that, or doing pictures for a certain brand or something. So maybe that's something, another thing that might, well, hopefully down the line will improve.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard about that, pay gap, the gender pay gap. I don't know. I think it's a bit unfair. definitely is unfair, but I don't know why it even exists in the first place. I think it's a bit,
Yeah. I suppose, like, all on a mad kind of catch up, because if we look back hundreds, like, women were probably second class citizens to men. So I suppose it has changed in the workplace and stuff like that greatly. Now I don't think it's fully improved off. I still see stuff going on. But in terms of sport, I think we're just at that phase now where, it's only been talked about now in the last 3 or 4 years. And I suppose the more we talk about it, the more we push it, then we can kind of even the gap a bit. Like, but that whole pay gap in terms of doing things for a different sport.
Yeah, that's very true, actually.
Yeah, I think we heard Cora Staunton saying it as well recently. I think it was the other day about that Galway and Cork are treated like second class citizens there as well.
With the match of the weekend.
Yeah.
This match is going to go dead and I need to get my charger downstairs. I'll just put 2 seconds. Or is it here even? 2 seconds.
Oh my god, it's 7:00.
As far as I even found it. Brothers take the usual crack. In terms of the game at the weekend, to be honest, I actually didn't hear Cora's interview about it. I was listening to one today on Off the Ball on News Talk. And in terms of, I suppose, it was inequality you said she was talking about, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I suppose in terms of that, you could argue that the men's game could have been pushed back. But then again, I suppose, where was the miscommunication gone wrong? That, a venue wasn't fixed, because we're not really under J bracket, so I don't feel like they should have had to move their game back. I suppose if LGFA probably had the proper communication and if they had everything organised, but I feel like then whatever happened at the weekend wouldn't have happened. But I suppose it's just like, at the end of it, just brings out negative kind of news, and I suppose all the debates around the last few days wouldn't have been there. I suppose if, I don't even know what went on, but whatever went on behind the scenes, I suppose maybe if it can be just prevented in the future, if there's a lesson learned from it. Because, going forward, that's not what we want. We don't want negative news every time we look at our phones popping up the whole time, so...
And who hasn't seen who has influenced you the most during your inter-county career so far?
Influenced me most? I suppose my biggest influences really are my parents. I suppose times when I wanted to pack it in and times when I wanted to give it up, just being dramatic and being erratic, wasn't actually thinking of my decision, but coming home, I'm giving this up, I'm not doing this. I suppose they've always been so supportive of me and they've always backed me in everything I've done. And even when I was younger, I suppose they would have given up a lot of things that they would have went with their friends, and even family events, even my communion. I didn't even have my communion or confirmation because I was playing primary game. And they were happy to do that. They were happy to give up that day and all of that, to sacrifice, to allow me to be able to do what I enjoy. So I think they were probably the biggest influence for me with everything, like, and still are currently. Still have to listen to me give out every day of the week and moan and groan, but sure, they'll always still love me. It's grand.
I think that's such an Irish mammy thing, though, like, to push you to go to training and go to matches and everything. It's such an Irish thing.
Oh, it is, yeah, and I suppose Jay is so rooted in families here in Ireland. Like, are your families the same? Are they heavily involved?
Oh yeah,
in Jay?
like hail, rain or snow, it's off
yeah.
to training. Like, it doesn't matter
Breakfast,
if it's 0 degrees out.
Dinner, Jay chat.
Yeah.
Supper, J chat. There's a match. Then Alice is gone for about 5 days afterwards. But it's mad though, like how people come from other countries and they're like, how are these nut jobs running around the pitch after football and not even getting paid for it? Like, but it's just great though, because the community spirit that it brings to a community in a parish, like, it's just mad how it brings people together. Like, I know girls from all over the country. Even a few of my best friends are from different counties, and that's just literally from playing sport I got to know them. But it's just mad. It's crazy. Like, GA people are nuts anyway. They're not, even when you go to matches and all, like, geez, I wouldn't mind going to the Mayo now and Dublin game if you're allowed. I was at a Mayo game before, and they had to announce over the intercom to get the supporters leaving Croke Park because they're just absolutely wild. Nut jobs.
But that's like the best part of the GA is like the mad supporters, and it's normally like someone from the parish on the sideline that doesn't have any son or daughter playing, but it's that one person that like supports the whole thing. It's so funny. Like, there's always one.
And is that it? Every game they're everywhere.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's just great. Like, I like when I talk about it, I suppose, talk to you about it, it's kind of like, it actually kind of hits my heart a bit, to be honest, and sometimes I actually get emotional because, like, what GA and ladies football has done for me, like, I will never ever be thankful for it. The doors it has opened for me. In terms of college, I wouldn't be doing what I am in college right now only for ladies football, and I suppose even in being involved with Little, like, that's such an honour and privilege for me to be involved. I suppose there's 4 of us picked in the country, and out of, like, do you know how many players, and I was lucky to be one of those 4 that have picked, and I suppose it opened up so many doors for me in terms of different things. So, like, it's just mad, and I suppose hopefully when we're all done playing or whatever, that, you know, I can give something back to my club or county, just in a note of thanks for everything that has brought me and enjoyment. It has even brought my family. I suppose even this year with the business gone and stuff, even for mum and dad to watch my game, you know, it was like Christmas Eve here one night, the night before the game. I actually leave the house because I couldn't be dealing with them, because I was like, I have a game tomorrow and you're driving me up and down the wall. But it's just amazing that the joy it brings people, and I suppose we've seen that with COVID. Like, you know, if we had to go through that 6 weeks lockdown without GA, what would we have done? We'd have nothing to give out about or talk about, or, you know, songs, you know, even long before we're gone. Hopefully it doesn't ever die out and people keep the whole tradition going and the community spirit going. So very, very thankful for everything that has done for me and forever will be for it.
Yeah, no, you see that in our own parish especially, because we had finals and semi-finals during the summer, and that was just after the lockdown, and it wasn't the same, you know, when there wasn't a crowd at it, if you get me. Like, your own local supporters that you know without be at every game, it just wasn't the same atmosphere. It doesn't have the same, like, fight to it.
And you'd even notice that playing, I suppose, in particular with playing with Tip as well, I suppose, an empty stadium, like, you can hear the echo through the stadium. Now, not that there be over hectically, Halesby would be full in our games either, but I suppose our parents would make an awful difference when they are there, supporting us. And I suppose even for club games as well. We were lucky enough, we had our county final played before all that second lockdown came in, so I think there was like 200 allowed games at that time, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, no, it's massively, you notice a massive difference in the crack even. Sure, you need someone driving you on the line. My dad would be roaring and shouting at me the whole time. Half the time we'd telling him to be quiet. Jimmer, shut up. That's tough.
Oh my god, it's the same everywhere though. Like, football is the one thing you can carry through in every conversation. Like, no matter where you go, like, someone will always have to talk about football.
When I was in college, I was friendly with, there was 4 of us in the group. One was Sarah Rowe, I don't know if you know Sarah Rowe, plays for Mayo. Aisling Sheridan, she plays for Captain. Aisling, she's a fitness girl, probably came across her. And Mary Nack plays for Monaghan. She would have played against her that Friday night against Monaghan, and in like Queen Sullivan, she was playing for Kerry. But although we all were so oriented in football, every day it was the gym, it was running, it was everything, we never actually spoke about football. And we always commented on it, like how we had that natural click. But football was banned from ours, talking to come up on a Sunday, league game will be on, we talk about it, and then that'll be it for the week, we never talk about it again. But how we just had that click with each other when we met each other, that's what football brings, like as you were saying, like it brings that click with someone. And I suppose you can carry wherever you go. I was over in Thailand there one year, and this person comes up to me talking about football, like, because I knew her, we were mutual friends, but if I'm friendly with a girl, she was friendly with. So no matter where you go in the world, it's always going to be a conversation. It's brilliant. Not that we, as Irish anyway, we love chatting anyway, so we only want more to be chatting about.
That's so true.
You follow her, do you?
Sorry?
Do you follow Aisling Sheridan's fitness page? I seen Siobhan smiling there. I think she does. Do you really, Joe?
Yeah, well, no, if I've done it or not, it's another story, but I didn't follow it now.
No, it's great. She has a good thing going at the minute. It's very, like, attractive. Loads of people seem to be enjoying it. A few people have said to me about it. A few of my friends that they follow her from here in Tip, and I'm like, how do you know her? She's all the way up in Cavan. But no, she has got a really good thing going at the minute. So is all her fitness. I actually did fitness class there with her during the summer. You know, if you were following her then. It was actually me, Sarah. It was actually our college group. You should have seen me doing the press ups. Jesus Christ. But that's gas. Sure, you probably know Sarah. You probably know Sarah then as well, do you?
Yeah, no, I've heard the name a few times, definitely.
Yeah. So, very football. But it was gas, but we never actually talked about football, so that was the funny thing about it. It's just because we had that click with each other, like, I suppose when we were running out of conversations, you both bring it in, but which rarely happened. But mad.
I think you see that play against each other, and then after, like, you can just have to crack and talk about it. Like, you know, Kira and myself would be big rivals now with our clubs, and then after the match or something, like, we'll be grand.
Yeah. Sure, it's mad. Marion now, one of the girls, wouldn't look at you in the match, and she'd be showing a bit of abuse still, like, and then after then she'd be all apologetic. But that's the way it goes, I suppose. You know, when you're on opposite teams, you're kind of, you know, you're giving them tips of how to get the ball off them and stuff to your own teammates. But it's mad the way it goes, and then after the match, sure, you're all happy as Larry getting hunky dory. But I suppose the competitiveness is great. Once that it doesn't turn into serious, obviously, but no, we definitely have a lot of that going on, and an awful lot of it.
Alright. Before a game, how do you prepare?
How do I prepare? There's a bit of a story behind this, but just to shorten it down, when I was younger, I killed myself in everything that I did. I suppose you go through a period where there's about 4 or 5 girls on the team, and I suppose you're kind of nearly running the route, running up the field, scoring points. And I suppose then when I was about 16, 17, I remember I started, like, not playing well, I thought, personally. And I remember I came home here one day and I wrote out loads of things I need to improve on, and this went on for about a year or two where I was being so hard on myself. I ended up losing confidence. I went to the stage where we were playing awfully in the league in intermediate in Division 3, and I stood 20 yards from much goal and couldn't hit the ball over the bar. But that was just mainly because mentally I was telling myself I couldn't do it, so then physically the action wasn't being carried out. So then I took a step back and I was like, I can't continue like this. I actually wanted to give up then. That's the time I went to Mum and Dad and said it to them about it. I'm giving all this up. So I was. So then anyway, 2 weeks, the manager gave me a 2-week break from Tip, and we ended up going on to win O'Connor Cup with DCU College. We went on to win Division 2 with Tip to get up to Division 1. I won Intermediate All-Ireland last year, and I went on a complete upward roller coaster from then. But I took a step back and I had to look at myself, because sport is there to be enjoyed and not there to put you in bad form. And I suppose I was in a lot of bad form and I was lacking a lot of confidence and I just wasn't enjoying it. So since that, then how I prepare for matches don't bother me anymore. I don't get nervous. I don't think of them. I just think as another match. And I suppose you can't control anything till the ball is thrown in. Like, we often go through tactics in training just something that might happen, an occurrence that might happen in a match. But I suppose when the ball is thrown in, then that's the only time that you can actually control what is actually going on. So as I say to myself, I don't know what way my marker is going to play me, but I know once the ref throws in the ball, that's the only time I can start thinking. There's no point me thinking the night before the game or getting myself caught up 10 minutes before the game, because the game hasn't started yet, and it's only till the ref throws in the ball that then I start thinking, okay, what am I going to do now? How am I going to get around here? How am I going to do this? How are we going to do this? So I suppose since that, then I'll be very chilled out before a game. If I was in a dressing room as well and people were kind of taking it very seriously, I kind of have to remove myself from the environment. Some of the girls in our team, everyone has different ways with dealing before matches. Some people like this music, some people just be in bad form, some people be jolly. I'd always be going to the jolly person. I'd have to go with them and have a crack and mess. So just in terms of preparing, I'm very laid out, chilled out. Never ever get caught up in nerves or anything like that, because it's just something that's so out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. So when I get up here in the morning, sure, mum and dad, they know the crack as well. They just be having the crack with me. They don't, nothing serious with me ever, really, to be honest, in anything I do in life. Kind of nearly known for that. So yeah, no, very chilled out kind of crack.
That's the best way to be, though. There's no point stressing over something that hasn't happened yet, as you said.
No. And it's the same, I suppose, with you when you go to do your exams, and I suppose with school and all that, you know, there's many different things that we can stress over in life, but life is a roller coaster. It's not all happy and plain sailing, and you're going to have negative days and you're going to have positive days, but if you think you're going to have more positive days than what you are negative, and I suppose even in terms of like leaving cert like that, stuff like that, even with leaving cert, like I was very laid back about it as well, and I suppose there's just no point in getting caught up over these things, because there's more to life too. Like with football, it's a big part of me, it's a massive part of my personality, but I suppose there's more to life than that as well. Like people getting sick around us and, you know, disease and all like that, so you kind of just have to bring yourself back down to earth a bit and just think that, okay, although it is a massive part of my life, you know, when it's gone and when it's over, I still have 40 years of my life to live. And, you know, what am I going to do for those 40 years? I can't be dependent on playing for Tipperary and going out and trying to win games and getting satisfaction from it. I need to get my satisfaction from something else. And I suppose when county did get cancelled, I actually would know a few inter-county men's players, and I remember talking to him, and he told me that he actually felt like he lost his identity, because when he walked down the street every day, it was all attention about the game, and you played well, and how are you, and people asked him pictures and people asked him to sign things, and I suppose he then realised that he cannot rely on football as his ultimate happiness. Like, he needs to find other things, like meeting his friends, going for a coffee, going for a chat, going into the car, betting the tunes. That's what I did, and I did today. Just find other things. So I suppose just probably getting the balance, I suppose, because no matter what we do in life, things are going to be thrown at us, and, you know, even leaving certs and all that crap is down the line, things that we're going to have to deal with in life. But I suppose the more we kind of take a step back and not get too caught up about them, the more chilled out and stuff we're going to be, and there's no point getting ourselves stressed over things that are just totally out of our control. All we can do is do our best, and sure, once we do that, at the end of the day, there's nothing more that can be asked from any of us.
That's so true. You couldn't put that any way better. That is the best piece of advice you'll ever get. That just made me so relaxed. I will never stress about anything ever again.
No. It's gas, because I'm actually my friends slag me because they think I'm way too laid back, like that you can't live your life like this just being so laid back. Like, I'm very chill out. Like, if we go for chats, we're there for 3 hours sitting in the coffee shop, or 4 hours. There's no like rush. I don't do rush. Mom kills me because I don't do rush. I'd have things late. I had a loan there last year after buying a car. I didn't pay that £6,000. It'll be paid, it's fine. There's nothing to rush about. But like, because there's so much negative things going on around us as well, we kind of just need to like minimise the ones we can control. And I suppose if you can control yourself, just not getting stressed over something that's just so minimal, well then you're playing an awful big role. I suppose as I say to people, you need to put your life into perspective. You need to think of a worse thing. If you wake up, if you get bad news in the morning, you're suddenly going to forget about your leaving cert or forget about that little thing that's bothering you. So I suppose putting your life into perspective, and what if I got really bad news in the morning that one of my family members is really sick, and then you're like, Jesus, and then that calms you down. When we go to a funeral, straight away we come straight back down to earth again. 3 days later then we're back on the roller coaster. But it's just kind of cliche, like all of us have every, like, you might look at me and think, Jesus, do you know, Ashling's there, she's playing football for Tip, but like all of us have things going on in our head and have things we're worrying about. And it's a cliche saying, if we go onto Instagram and you see people being happy, they're actually not, because all of us have a mind that's playing tricks with us. And I suppose just trying to deal with that as best we can, and I suppose surround ourselves by great people and just minimising that stress. Minimises all that going on, and I suppose in turn makes us happier people. Now I'm not happy all the time either. I do have my angry days, but I just try and minimise them as best I can. Like, even if a teacher is annoying you in school, like, just bite the tongue and say nothing. Or maybe if brother, sister, mum, dad, or whatever, grandparent, someone is annoying you, bite the tongue and just hold it back. Because the minute you open your mouth and you snap at them, you regret it. And then you're in such regret mode, you have to stick with it, and you're stubborn, and you're like, no, I can't give in to it even though you want to give in to them. So I suppose just minimising things that create arguments or, you know, make us unhappy is just probably what I'd say to you.
So you won the third year TG Car Intermediate Award last year. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, it was, first of all, it was a massive honour and privilege to be nominated. I suppose, like, you know, me getting that award, it probably zones in on me, but like there's a lot of people around me who would have got me there, teammates in particular, who I played with since I was very young, management, people, coaches, all that. So when I did get that award, it was unbelievable. It's always nice to get like personal accolades like that. But I suppose at the end of the day, like, we wouldn't be winning on Ireland's unless we had a squad of 30 girls and everyone was feeding into it. So I think it's really important. It was a massive honour and privilege, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been there only for the girls around me. So I have to thank them too and everything that they did. But yeah, it was massive. I suppose mum and dad as well, it's nice for them. Even the night itself, like, it's a massive privilege to be there. I suppose I've been lucky enough to be there 3 or 4 times now. But just when I go there, I suppose, to see the joy and happiness on mum and dad's face and how proud they are, I suppose that's something that kind of keeps me going. Whatever the result is, it doesn't make a difference to me. Just once mum and dad